Alright, this video is from Chapter 9 on transformations, and in this video we're going to focus on translations. Now what a translation is a slide. Okay? I'm shifting a figure to the left, to the right, up and down, so that it's in a different place. Okay? It's going to have the same orientation, but it's just going to be in a different spot. Now this is different than a reflection because with a reflection we had a different orientation. With a translation it's going to be facing the same way. It's going to be the same shape, same size. It's just going to be in a different place. So here's an example. I started with my rectangle up here. I followed my line down and now my rectangle is down here. That's a translation. Very basic translation. I slid it down to the right that many spaces. Here is another one. I've got my triangle. My arrow says to slide it to the right. So there's my triangle now. Notice that they're the same size. It's just in a different place. That's what a translation is. Now, what we're going to focus on is on a coordinate plane. When you're writing a translation on a coordinate plane, you have distance. We have a number that we're going to the left or to the right. So what we do is we're going to add or subtract to the x of each point, and we're going to add or subtract to the y. Now, if we're going to go up or down, those go with the y. If we're going left or right, those go with the x, because that's the way our axes are set up. The x-axis is the horizontal one, goes left and right. The y-axis goes vertical, it goes up and down. So, one other thing, if we're going up, we're going to add. If we're going down, we're going to subtract. If we're going left, we're going to subtract. If we're going right, we're going to add. Okay? So suppose I want to move up 3 and right 2. How I would show that would be x plus 2, y plus 3. Notice that my up went with the y and my right went with the x. Even though they weren't that way when I wrote the example, they have to go with the right variable, the x or the y. Okay? And up we add and right we add, so we add those numbers to our x and y. Now we would plug in any point from our coordinate plane, any point in our figure, and we would just add and we would get the new points of our image. Remember, our pre-image is what we start with, so our image is going to be what we'll get after we perform this translation. Okay? Again, we add and subtract to the x and the y, however many we want to move. And up and right are positive, down and left are negative. We subtract on a coordinate plane. Okay, last thing, I want to talk about a composition. A composition is when you perform several transformations over and over again. Okay? So we're going to start here. We're going to do 2 flips, 2 reflections. I'm first going to take my figure and I'm going to reflect it over line L. Now remember, a reflection should be the same distance away, and my figure should be about the same. It should be the same size. Mine's about the same size because I'm freehand drawing these, but should be the same size, just a different orientation. Okay? Now I'm going to reflect my triangle again, but this time I'm going to reflect it over line M. Again, same shape, different orientation. So this is what I started with. This is after I reflected it the first time, and then I reflected this figure to get the third one. Now what I want you to see is that when I perform 2 reflections, 2 flips, what I end up getting is a translation. What's really happened is that this figure has slid over to its new location on the right-hand side of the page. Okay? And that's what I want you to remember. 2 reflections give you a translation, and that's an example of a composition. Alright, those are your notes on translations. If you have any questions, rewatch the video. Again, you'll take this a step farther in class. So if you don't understand it completely, maybe you'll get it in class next time, but do bring questions to class.